Every year around this time, we get flooded with the same messages. New year, new me, resolutions, reset everything, reinvent your life, upgrade, optimize, color code yourself into being better, or somehow you have failed at self-improvement. And honestly, I'm tired. I don't want to build a brand new me. The current me has been through a lot, and she has earned her damn seat. What I am interested in is setting down some of the unnecessary weight that we have been dragging around, the emotional, mental, and social clutter that slowly wears us down. Not dramatic reinvention, just small human shifts that give us back some peace and clarity. A lot of this hit me over the holidays. Conversations I had, things I overheard, patterns I noticed in people I love, and if I'm being honest, in myself. And I realized maybe the most compassionate thing we can do in 2026 isn't piling more expectations on our backs, but gently taking a few off. So today, I want to talk about a few things I am choosing not to drag with me into 2026. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rachel. And around here, we talk about staying resilient, grounded, and human in a world that would really love us to lose our minds. Now, just to be clear, some of these things, I have been trying to let go of them for years. I've probably mentioned a few of them before because that's real life. We don't master this stuff and get a medal. We try, we slide back, we try again. Sometimes we nail it, sometimes we don't. God knows none of us are perfect at this. So let's talk about the big ones I am focusing on in 2026. First, there is guilt and emotional baggage we've outgrown. I'm letting go of guilt as a lifestyle, not responsibility, not accountability, just the part where we stay permanently at war with who we used to be. Most of us have done things we wish we'd handled differently, things that make us wince when we think about them. But that makes us human, not defective. We can acknowledge it. We can apologize when we need to. We can do better moving forward. But at some point, we have to stop punishing ourselves for chapters we have already lived. Dragging guilt doesn't make us wiser. It just makes us exhausted. That is one heavy bag I am not carrying anymore. Number two, things that don't serve us. Something else I'm setting down is emotional clutter, especially the roles we've inherited instead of choosing. Some of us became the peacekeeper, the fixer, the responsible one, the strong one, the person everyone expects to hold it together so they don't have to. But not everybody gets cast in that role. Some people get labeled the screw up, the one who never has it quite together, the one everyone quietly expects to fail again, or who's always treated like they can't handle life without being rescued. Sometimes it's just birth order, the oldest child expectations. You're the dependable one, the example. You don't get to fall apart. That pressure follows you well into adulthood. Like you're allowed to be strong, but never vulnerable, responsible, but not tired, capable, but never allowed to crack. And on the other end, there's the youngest child script. You're the baby. You'll always be the kid who needs to be taken care of. You're the one we don't quite trust to be fully capable, no matter how old you are. Those labels stick far longer than they ever should. Now, I have been in a couple of those places. I've been the one everyone leaned on, but I've also been the one quietly treated like I couldn't possibly know what I'm talking about because I was the baby. Those storylines hang on longer than they deserve to. But being permanently cast as the strong one, the broken one, or the forever baby isn't a life sentence unless we keep accepting it. I can handle it doesn't automatically mean I should always handle it. And I needed help before does not equal I'm incapable forever. We're allowed to put roles down, even the ones everyone else is comfortable keeping us in. We're allowed to grow past the version of us people got used to. We are allowed to set our load down without feeling like we're betraying anyone. Not everything we carry belongs to us, and not every identity handed to us needs to come into another year. Number three, people who don't value you. The next thing that I'm letting go of is putting effort into people who repeatedly show me I am not a priority. I don't hate them. I just don't wish them harm. I don't dislike them. I'm just not fighting to sit at tables where I keep being reminded that I am optional. No drama, no speeches, just less emotional investment where there isn't mutual care. Sometimes letting go isn't rejecting someone, it's protecting yourself. And fourth, separate from that, but very intentionally separate, are the people whose core values just don't line up with the kind of world most of us are trying to live in. A lot of what we're seeing isn't new. It's always been there. We're just noticing it more clearly now. We are living in a time where unkindness can get normalized, dishonesty gets brushed aside, and sometimes the behavior is even rewarded. And when that becomes just the way things are, it eventually seeps into our personal lives too. And that's where values really matter. Compassion, decency, honesty, basic humanity. Being around people who celebrate cruelty, dismiss truth, or excuse harm does not make anyone stronger or kinder. It just wears us down. It makes us cynical and tense. It slowly turns us into people we don't always like being, and that matters. We're allowed to choose peace. We're allowed to step back from relationships that pull us away from who we're trying to be, or that just drain the life out of us. Number 5, the aches, ailments, and decline narrative. Now, I'm talking about the everything hurts and we're falling apart conversational culture. Bodies age, stuff hurts, life happens. We don't have to pretend otherwise. But somewhere along the line, talking about what's wrong with us became the main storyline for a lot of people. And honestly, I don't want that to be the headline of my life. Yes, talk about your real struggles. Yes, get support when you need it. But we're still allowed to talk about joy, curiosity, growth, laughter, beauty, and ordinary goodness. We're still allowed to be alive, not just deteriorating daily. Now, right alongside that is number 6, constant complaining. Not real hardship, not honest processing. I mean when negativity becomes a personality. It doesn't make us real. It just makes everybody tired. We don't need to sugarcoat life, but we also don't need to rehearse misery like it's a performance. I want to live in reality, yes, just not the darkest possible version of it. Now, another thing I'd really like to leave behind is number 7, humble bragging, and its close cousin, polite one-upping. No, not loud bragging, not obvious ego. I'm talking about that subtle way conversations turn into resume presentations wrapped in just sharing. Somebody shares something simple and meaningful, and suddenly someone else needs to elevate it, top it, out impress it. Harvard Business School actually studied this and found that humble bragging backfires. People don't find it impressive. They actually tend to like us less when we do it because they can feel the insecurity or the bravado underneath it. And I don't think most people do it to be obnoxious. I think a lot of it comes from pressure. It's not just keeping up with the Joneses anymore. It is blowing past them so no one mistakes you for ordinary. It's proving we matter, proving we're interesting, successful, worthy, not boring. But when life turns into competition, connection disappears. We stop actually living our lives because we are so busy performing them. So, one of the things that I'm going to practice is letting good things just be good without turning them into a comparison sport. If someone asks something about something I loved, I'm okay with saying, it was great, thanks for asking, and leaving it at that. No highlight reel, no scoreboard energy. Life does not need constant ranking. We don't have to outshine each other to have value. And honestly, the grounded, ordinary, honest stuff is usually where real life is anyway. Number 8, the need to justify every decision. I'm also letting go, or trying to, of over-explaining myself. We don't need a dissertation every time we say no. We don't need universal approval to choose peace and live our lives. I don't want to, this doesn't feel right, this matters to me. Those are full sentences. We are allowed to trust ourselves. Something else that I've already let go is number 9, and that is fear of change. Change does not wait for permission. Life is going to move with or without our blessing. Holding on just because something's familiar hurts way more than learning to loosen our grip. Change isn't always the threat we make it out to be. Sometimes it's the only reason we grow. Number 10, I'm also letting go of being brutal with myself. And this one is actually hard. Most of us talk to ourselves in a way we'd never talk to another person. We beat ourselves up for aging, for learning slowly, for needing rest, for needing help. We don't need to be our own bully. There are plenty out there. We deserve to be someone we feel safe with. Number 11, buying stuff to fill emotional spaces. Yep, we gotta talk about stuff. Buying to soothe, buying to distract, buying because something shiny promised happiness. Then we never use it, and it just sits there. Then we turn around and donate it. And I don't know about where you live, but where I'm at, donation centers are bursting, which should probably tell us something. Maybe the answer isn't decluttering harder. Maybe it's buying less in the first place. And when it comes to things we're only keeping out of guilt, the gift someone might be offended we let go of, the expensive thing we don't actually like, the sentimental object that actually hurts more than it helps. Letting go does not erase love. It doesn't erase memories. It just means we're choosing to live in the life we have now. Now, if there is a philosophical thread through all of this, it's this. Life moves. Nothing stays the same. Our bodies change, relationships shift, so do priorities. We get shaped by what we live through, and that is not something to fear. That is the whole point of being alive. Every kind of wisdom, ancient philosophy, spirituality, psychology, or just living long enough eventually lands on the same idea. A lot of our suffering isn't just what happens to us. It's what we keep carrying after it's done. The Stoics believe peace isn't about controlling everything. It's about choosing where we put our energy. Buddhism reminds us that clinging usually hurts way more than letting go ever will. And psychology tells us that our brains rewrite our emotional reality based on what we keep focusing on. Different languages, same message. We don't have to hold everything. We don't have to prove our strength by never putting anything down. Sometimes strength looks like softening. Sometimes wisdom looks like releasing. Sometimes resilience isn't powering through. It's refusing to drag things that don't deserve to own us anymore. And maybe that's what tiny steps create agency really means. Not dramatic reinvention, not burning our lives down and starting over, just choosing in small, honest ways to travel lighter on purpose. So, as we step into 2026, I am not aiming for a brand new version of me. I'm aiming for a freer one, a steadier one, a kinder one that doesn't get buried under guilt, resentment, obligation, comparison, noise, and clutter that doesn't deserve space anymore. And if there is something that you are ready to stop carrying, you don't need permission. But if it helps, you absolutely have mine. Thanks for being here. Take care of you, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.